David Banner.
Let me ask you a quick question, bro. We're gonna switch gears for a second. Tell us something about Detroit, the team. That the general public wouldn't know. Because America always likes to paint the villains. Is there something about the team as a whole that no one really knows, or something that we would be surprised about?
Yeah, we all came from the planet Saturn. We do not appreciate you Earthlings and how you handle us. And we continue to fight against our nemesis, Michael Jawaga, from the planet Jawaban. And we just came here to have the wars. And it was like Transformers.
Right.
Decepticons have gotten y'all to believe that they are the good ones. But no one would realize that one of the things that we did in Detroit is we didn't make it in the papers. Everybody was talking about Magic and Bird and Michael. And one of the things that we said is, you know what? Bill Lambert said, we like the bad guy in a cowboy movie, man. He said, yeah, we wearing black. Mm-hmm. He said, so we like the Raiders of the NBA. Said, yeah, we should be the Raiders of the NBA. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what, we ain't going to be the Dallas Cowboys. We ain't going to be the New York Giants. We're going to be the Raiders of the NBA.
Right.
And that's a persona we had to take on. Mm-hmm. And we lived up to it. We were the Raiders of the NBA. We played the game really, really hard. That's the way we looked at it. And everybody thought, they wouldn't know, they thought we were the bad guys. I put a video on my Instagram showing how bad the Bulls were. Remember, Charles Oakley was no joke. Mm-hmm. Oh, the Boston Celtics were like, hey, young fella, you're scoring too much. Slow it down. I had to, relax. Stop trying to show me up. I turned around. I don't want to hear that old hat. Watch your mouth, young fella. The referee's like, hey, break it up. Like, watch your mouth. That was it.
No fouls.
No. It was a man-up lead. Mm-hmm. But they had to change it because they had the propaganda machine. Mm-hmm. There's one thing I want everybody to know. Isaiah Thomas is 6'1", and he was giving everybody the business above him. And he was put into a position to have to show, not that I'm a small man trying to be whatever. He had to fight for his way. This was his team. And they painted him with a broad brush and said, you're a bad guy. When all he was doing what anybody else would do, fighting for what he knew, fighting to win.
So I heard you say before, you was like, you don't view Jordan as the GOAT. Is that solely more so because that's your peer and you played against him, so it's like, I can't give you that?
Yeah, I was bullshitting this all those years, man, because I knew. But I had to admit it. Right? Nobody else was saying what I was saying. Right. And look how I've been on TV for 20 years saying the same shit. Right. Because I knew that you had to have a counter. And he would laugh because we would be places, I'd be like, Money, you realize they're calling you the greatest player to ever play? He was like, I'm the best in the league. That's Michael. He knew he wanted to be the best in the league. Mm-hmm. He didn't think about the greatest of all time because all time is not over. And he wasn't going to play against anybody. Mm-hmm. I said, I'm going to say that shit, Money. He said, man, they're going to go at you I'm going to say that shit. So I started saying it, man, and people needed something to throw at. But I'm going to tell you something that most people don't know. In 1981, I go visit Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech versus North Carolina. Mm-hmm. I meet MJ then. We become really cool in 82, 83, 84 when he goes. 84, he's coming to play Atlanta. He stays up in the room because he doesn't know anybody. He never gone anywhere. Mm-hmm. And David know I'm really good at delivering. So I would deliver and always look out for my boy. Mm-hmm. And then we became, frat brothers. Did I tell you Omega Sci-Fi Incorporated? Is another thing too. I told my brother, I said, man, it's good to be an Omega, but man, we should have been an African frat. But anyway, I'll get back to that in another time. In I sat there and I made sure that MJ had everything that he needed to have. I made sure that he didn't have to go out and deal with the food thing. He didn't have to go out and deal with the nightclub. You know, he didn't have to go to Magic City. His loss. You know, I'm here for Michael Jordan. Can you line them hoes up, please?
Oh my goodness! Comedian on the rise.
I'm just being serious again. But listen, and so I was always looking out for that cat, and always at that point, I knew when I met Kobe and I saw Kobe, I said, "So you're going to be the next Michael Jordan?" He said, "No, I'm going to be the first Kobe Bryant."
Oh, nice.
But he was acting like Michael. And you don't get to see people like that. I've been on a lot of planets. That planet is weird. That's a weird planet. It's like around Eddie Murphy, you say something to Eddie goes, "Oh my God, hilarious." And he'll laugh, and then he'll start thinking of why it's hilarious. Mm-hmm. He's trying to figure out where it made you laugh. Mm-hmm. That's Michael and Kobe. Mm-hmm. Michael and Kobe is like, if I go left and you lean back 1 second, I got a quarter of a second to get the ball above my head and shoot it. That's how they think. So I knew MJ was the greatest. I did. And I love Oscar Robertson. He thanked me for saying, "Thanks for putting my name in." I love Dr. J. Mm-hmm. But I got to be direct, dog. The greatest player that I've ever played against was Michael Jordan, the greatest player. I've seen everybody. I've seen Fly Williams in Brooklyn, World Beat Free, Tiny Archibald, Pearl Washington. I'm telling you, I've seen them. Nobody is MJ.
Can you give us an in-game?
I had to wait till 2020 to say it.
Can you give us an in-game scenario, bro, where whoever you decide to pick, some of the most amazing shit that you've seen inside of a game? Like, what was one of the greatest experiences that you happened to be a part of, like, on the court? Like, what the fuck was that?
Well, I'm going to go to Detroit.
Okay.
Just because I love Ali, always was the hat. I'm going to go. So this is the deal. We supposed to lose to Atlanta Hawks. Mm-hmm. And we're playing them in the play. We're not supposed to. It's supposed to be Atlanta Hawks going to go back and play against the Celtics. Mm-hmm. And I see Isaiah at 6'1", literally take over the game. He goes in, he double pumps, he does his shot, he goes off the backboard, he shoots a three. I saw this guy score, I think, 9 straight points. And I saw him shut Doc Rivers down. And I forgot Doc was from Chicago like he was. I saw Isaiah turn into that kid from Chicago. And, man, I don't know if you noticed, but Isaiah grew up, they talked about how poor they were. Mm-hmm. He played in church shoes.
Damn.
Wow.
He have on tube socks and shoes playing. And imagine
putting your ass on skates.
he played in church shoes, giving you the business. Imagine if you gave him some grip. Right. So I would say that watching Kobe take over and come down in the 2000 championship, we were losing to Portland by 15. And then Phil walks out and I said, "Can I say something to him?" He said, "Yeah, go ahead." And I go back and I go, "Hey, fellas, so, I came on this team because I knew I was going to win a championship. The universe told me, my psychic told me, this is not how it ends." Mm-hmm. And I said, "Y'all sit around and play that stupid game of shooting threes all the time. We just need to get 6 3-pointers. 6 3-pointers is 18 points. In case people didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
So we come down. I said, "Don't throw the ball to the big," because they were doing hack a shot. Glenn Rice hit a 3-pointer. B. Shaw hit a 3-pointer. I think Rick Fox hit a 3-pointer. All of a sudden, Rasheed Wallace started arguing and yelling at his teammates. I said, "Yo, we got him." And that's when it comes down, and we're only down 1, and Kobe goes into the basket and throws the alley-oop, and Shaq catches it and dunks it, and runs that spread and run down court. They were demolished. Steve Smith didn't want to talk to Rasheed. Rasheed didn't want to talk to the next guy didn't want to talk to the next guy. We totally broke the team up. And then we went on to beat the hell out of, what was the team? Indiana Pacers. Yeah. So I watched us literally go in, and we had this thing called one breath. And we would breathe and breathe, and then we would go, and then we would let it out, and then we would breathe together. Couldn't stop us.
So if you had to, out of your 4 championship squads, who would you think was the best? What squad was the best one that you would take? Like that squad in a 7-game series versus whoever. Like which one?
I would take the Detroit Pistons 1989 championship team, and against anybody. And the reason being, and I know they're gonna say, but what about Michael Jordan, the greatest of all time? I would if I had Michael on that squad, but I also knew that the 1996 greatest team of all time wouldn't have been in existence because Dennis Rodman, myself, and James Edwards would not have been on that team. And so that energy we brought from Detroit was the most unbelievable energy. Hey, I think I've been to Isaiah's house once in my life, James Edwards' house once in my life, Dennis Rodman's house, and Joe Dumars' house outside. I've never been in their house and had dinner with them, ever. That's not the relationship we have. But it's funny, we got a team chat, and there's 7 of us on there. But I've never been in these guys' homes. Just when we got to the court, it was a complete time to work.
Bad Boy. How did that happen? Hey, lay that out for us, bro. That shit was dope as fuck. How did that happen?
Well, Martin Lawrence is a good friend of Will. Like I said, we all started back in the 80s. I've been around Martin since like 88. I've been around Will since 80, 86, 87. I saw Will perform at Prentice High School in Manhattan when he was young, when they came up to perform, and I was into hip hop. And so I seen him, but then I got to be friends with him. I go to set, it's in Miami, and I go to set, and Martin is with his first wife at the time, Pam. And he goes, yo, man, look. I said, man, she fine. And he got pissed. And I said, got to get a prenup. You fine, but he got to get a prenup. That's what Sinbad told me in front of my wife. My wife wound up getting a prenup. She had the best NBA contract I've ever seen. She had a great lawyer. I needed that. But she bought the prenup because she didn't want to hear it. And so when we walking up to the set, because I want to see the set, he's like, man, don't embarrass me in front of my woman like that. Don't do that kind of shit, Sal. I said, dog, that's how Sinbad did it to me. I don't care. I'm going to let her know. You my friend, but you need a prenup. She cute as hell. I get upstairs and somebody's yelling and screaming. I go, who's that? He goes, young director, man. He's yelling and shit. You know, that's the way it goes. So he's yelling and screaming. I said, who the hell is that? He goes, who is that? And he pulled the curtain back. And it was Michael Bay. And Michael Bay had directed my Nike commercial.
Oh, wow.
He was my Nike commercial director.
Right.
And I was like, I knew that yelling voice. He was like, what are you doing here, Martin? I said, I came to visit Martin. He said, Martin, we got to get him in the movie. He's funny. Martin was like, well, you the director. He said, you got a SAG card? I was like, yeah, I got a SAG card. You know, I didn't know what a SAG card was.
SAG card.
I got a SAG card. It was like, let's make a deal. I got Q-tips. I got all kinds of, what you need? I got. And so he said, there's a part of him, put you in a part, but it has nothing to do with basketball. I said, cool. 2 weeks later, and I was with SAG because I did commercials in Detroit, but I didn't know what it was.
Right.
And my payment was $471. And I was like, but all of that went to paying dues that I hadn't paid at SAG, so I didn't make a check. And as I'm going to set, he's putting things on. He was like, cut his sleeves. He said, okay. He said, put these handcuffs on. I was like, you are such a freak, dog. We put the handcuffs on. And we're writing the lines that we're going. And he goes, this is going to be the greatest thing. Put the glasses on. And I was like, yo, he said, don't worry. It's going to play great. And that was Michael Bay. We were writing it as we were going. And I'm thinking in my mind, I can't curse in my first movie. My mother's going to maybe see this.
Right.
Well, the rest of the movie had enough curses for her not to see it. God rest her soul. She just passed in January. She was Jehovah's Witness. She wasn't going to go see an R-rated movie. Right. But my pops loved it. And Michael just knew how to play it. And to me, I got 1:41 with the two principals. Mm-hmm. And I sat on set, Banner. I learned everything. I learned what a focus puller does. I learned what a grip does. Mm-hmm. I learned why the sound guy, who the boom operator. I sat on set and learned it all. Right. And so when it came time for part 2, which was 10 years later, Jerry Bruckheimer said, "You were funny, we're going to put you back in the movie." Mm-hmm. And he paid me $20,000. And I had to be there for a week. Right. When Bad Boy 3 came around, he said, "Sit your black ass down." No. I got LA finest.
Yeah. Well, Corey, anything?
I actually had a question about rewinding back to like converting and going over to veganism. How did you I'm trying to wrap my mind around how did you go from eating the things that you liked and even though it wasn't good for you, like what was that transition period of saying, okay, I'm not messing with the seafood or any meats and just strictly like vegetables? Like what was that transition period like?
It was direct. Mm-hmm. So check this out. My mother was a kosher caterer. I had a hot dog stand, mm-hmm. Hebrew Nationals. I was selling the all beef hot dogs to the Muslims, to the Jews that wouldn't eat any pork. That was my Saturday job. And I ate liverwish. I made a beef patty every morning with 4 to 5 eggs. And I wind up realizing that why do your feet stink? How do you should just wonder that. And I tell you this, this is the best thing I tell people. Don't eat. Just drink water and you're going to be amazed on how much you stink. And once it gets out, you realize that you made your body into a trash bin. Mm-hmm. And if you put some food, some meat, something dead in a trash bin and close it, when you open it, it's going to smell like your feet. Yeah. So what I did is, after I got the colonic from Dr. Pukram and I went on macrobiotics, this is what happened. I go to Dr. Palucci, doctor who's with Detroit. He goes, "Sal, I got to talk to you. Your cholesterol is that of a 47-year-old man. You have the second worst cholesterol on the entire team." Now, Tree Rollins was on the team, and Tree Rollins was 90 at the time.
Damn.
And my cholesterol was worse than Tree Rollins. Right. So at 257, so I was a walking heart attack. Me. And you see the white part, and then you see the red part. And then the butcher cuts off the white part, and you say, oh, that's lean meat. The fat is in the meat. How that fat got on the outside is it came out of the red part and pushed to the outside. Just like as your belly's flat, and then when it gets big, the fat didn't come down and just go there. It came from the muscle out. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to be direct. I have a very nice male member. I'm blessed, as Bernie Mac would say. It runs in the family. And they told me that I would have to get a pump if I had the prostate taken out. I don't know if y'all know this, but when they take the male prostate out, they put 2 straws on the side of your penis. And in order to get it hard, you have to pump it up.
Oh, wow.
It's on crutches. That's what I love. They put your dick on crutches, Banner.
I want to hear.
First thing. Second thing, you don't have any desire because the cholesterol, your body, when you see this girl and she's fine, and your body says, send blood to the penis, the body says, man, forget that girl. I'm trying to digest this shit you put inside of us. Mm-hmm. So then they give you a blue pill, and then the blue pill goes down. It gives you a headache. It takes away hearing. It lessens your ability to see, just so your penis will be hard, that you get no feeling in, So the pill is for ego, and it also can cause a heart attack. So right there, I said, I love women way too much to keep eating this steak. Women way too much. And I would be a JR Crickets man across the street from Varsity in Atlanta. And I would call them on the way, hey, I'm on my way. So I didn't have to wait for my chicken wing. I was ahead of my time. When I realized that having all of that animal fat and that was getting inside and causing my cholesterol, that an egg was 100% cholesterol and the egg was the menstrual cycle of a chicken, that means that I was eating period blood. I was done. I didn't have to transition. I was done right there. Yeah. I was done right there.
I'm done right now. I'm done right now with the eggs.
So,
oh my goodness.
So I just want to say this, bro. You coming on Zoom for us is no replacement for you coming or us coming to you or you coming to us and sitting in the studio. So I'm gonna wrap it up here because I definitely want you to come back. I see a couple questions that I really want to ask.
I'll be down there after my birthday.
Okay.
So I'm gonna look to hang out with you.
When is your birthday?
May 16th.
Oh, I know that.
I like the drone anniversary cigars. In case you want to.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, them joints right there.
So, but in closing though, bro, is there anything generally that you want to say to your people, man? We usually close out the show with an elder. Just to pass on something, is there just an overall sweeping idea that you want to leave with our people? I want you to have the last word today. Yeah.
Everything we've learned and everything we know and most of the ways we go, we learn from white people. We've learned. I know you might have some white listeners, but we are talking to us for this situation.
Hold on. Wait. First of all, our favorite word on this show is cracker. Let's be clear. Cracker. That's the yep. That's our favorite word on this show is cracker. We try to say it 7 times a day, every time we on here, just so we clear. But go ahead. Sorry. Crackle.
Make your teeth white. Say it 7 times, your teeth stay white. I just want most of the time for people to know that everything we've ever learned, the way to kiss, the way to hug, the way to do everything. And we start thinking that, and I saw on Instagram today, we start thinking, man, they punched that black kid in the face and like this, but the white kid, they talk to him. Ain't shit change, y'all. If we don't start focusing just on making sure we okay, my mother's born 1923. She said, integration hurt us as a community. And I was like, Ma, come on. And she said, I ain't saying it ain't cool to hang out with them. She said, but I used to go to the best movies, the best clubs, the best restaurants. And she said, the really thing that pissed me off is when we were driving from Barnwell, South Carolina up to New York, I only had 2 places to go to the bathroom. And she said, when you go on in those bathrooms, they were so clean because we knew we had to keep it clean for the person to follow. Right. And I was like, So she said, if you do something, make sure you focus on black people. White people buy what black people like.
So I want to tell you in closing, man, you have always looked out for me. The David Banner podcast is your home also. Anything that you have to sell, anytime you need to get out a word, any way that we can assist you, I think I'm speaking on the behalf of all of us, bro. We here for you. We love you. We appreciate you, man. And deuces, literally. And we like to always end the show with a message from our ancestors.
In the United States, we live in a culture that glorifies romantic love. Due to the media's portrayal of romance, some people enter relationships based on myths or temporary passions that are more dangerous than we realize. A lack of romantic love isn't a character flaw. Rather, it's a failure of our collective imagination to acknowledge the various forms of love that can exist in our lives. Love can be expressed through responsibility, respect, commitment, and perseverance. More importantly, let's not forget the subtle moments that can help shape relationships. Yes, love is a verb, but sometimes its beauty and true essence can be found in being still. So, spend some time reflecting on your own perspective of what love can look like for you. Peace, kings and queens.
Thank you for supporting the David Banner Podcast. If you're sick of bullshit TV that's always showing our people in a negative light, if you're looking for information that's simple and entertaining instead of boring, check out Business Bully TV. Business Bully TV has amazing programming, from celebrity interviews, documentaries, and movie reviews. You can watch exclusive programming that you can't get anywhere else from today's power players. Business Bully TV is available for free on Amazon Fire TV, Roku, and streaming 24/7 and on demand at businessbully.tv. Once again, this is David Banner from the David Banner Podcast.